Why, good morning. Hope you had a great weekend. Come on in. Let's start a new week together, shall we? It is Monday, November the 4th. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following this morning. A homeless shelter in Brantford is set to reopen after a kitchen fire a few weeks ago.
Both sides in the Canada Post contract dispute are still talking.
And music icon Quincy Jones passed away last night. Well, here we go. Let's welcome Brian Wood back to the show. Brian, hello. You look a little different.
Wow.
Okay, yeah. Grew out your hair over the holidays.
Do I look better tan now that I'm back?
Yes, so refreshed, so refreshed.
Good to see you, Steve. So Brian's a little under the weather. Steve Ruddock stepping in once again.
Thank you again, Steve.
No problemo. Okay, it's just after 6 o'clock on Monday. What's ahead for us this week? Kind of like last week. We'll start the week a little on the warmer side, then we'll get some rain and cooler temperatures when it dries up later on. It's kind of what we've got weather-wise for us. But on the roads, every day changes. Every few minutes, it changes. Let's have a look and see what's happening. Let's start way down in the Niagara area and see what's going on. So weather not a factor this morning. There's a slight chance of a shower, so don't be too surprised if you get a few spots on the windshield this morning as you're heading out, but in general terms, we're looking at okay conditions out there. Good start to the day as far as conditions. Our Skyway Bridge, again, moving into the Burlington area. There's a police investigation, I'm told, going on, so that may slow things up a little bit, but right now looking in pretty good shape. East of Brant Street along the QEW, that stretch there into Oakville, Mississauga, and beyond, we're looking at a build-up right now. So again, getting busy on the roads early today in some areas. By the Ford plant, seeing no problems. Glen Aaron Drive along the 403, west of Mavis along the 403. Traffic's moving along in good shape up by Pearson Airport. Always like to see what's going on there. And traffic's moving along in good shape. So we are seeing no major problems to start the day out there. And let's hope that is good, not just for today, but for the week ahead of us. We'll look at more traffic and check your weather coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Steve. Let's get to a large police presence that is currently in central Hamilton this morning. This is just coming into our newsroom. Hamilton Police took to X around 5:30 this morning, asking residents to avoid Barton Street and East Avenue for an ongoing investigation. Motorists should expect traffic delays in the area. Police tell us they don't have many details to share as of right now, and the situation may last for an unknown amount of time. Currently, there are no reported injuries and no arrests have been made. Our Simone Gavros is on the way to the scene, and she'll be following this story for us this morning.
And Hamilton police have released video of a robbery outside a Hamilton bank earlier this summer, hoping it will lead to the arrest of the suspect they've identified. So on July 1st, a woman was about to make a deposit at a bank on Hamilton Mountain when she was robbed. 43-year-old Robert Rumley is now wanted on charges of robbery and disguise with attempt. He's white, about 5'11", weighs 170 pounds, with tattoos on both arms and hands. Police say he has a history of staying in the Hamilton area, but may have moved to surrounding cities. He also has a history of violence, and police say if you see him or if you know him, call 911 immediately.
An emergency homeless shelter in Brantford set to reopen today after a kitchen fire displaced 40 of its residents. So this is Brantford's largest shelter. It's located on Nelson Street, housing those who are experiencing homelessness. So the fire, it broke out almost 7 weeks ago, back on September the 17th. Those who stay there have been temporarily staying in motels throughout Brant County for the time being. Now, the executive director, Tim Phillips, says that the accidental fire started on a stove and then spread through the kitchen and caused about $150,000 in damages. Repairs began immediately following the fire to clean and repaint the space, but the kitchen still does remain out of commission. Salvation Army has been providing meals for those who live there and will continue to do so.
Hamilton police found what appears to be a shotgun barrel in what's left of a tent that caught fire at Delta Park, not very far from Gage Park. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. This comes amidst ongoing talks about homelessness and encampments in Hamilton. Across the province, actually, 13 mayors are urging Premier Doug Ford to utilize the notwithstanding clause to dismantle camps like this. Hamilton Mayor Andrea Horwath does not endorse the call, but a Hamilton councillor, Matt Francis, plans to introduce a motion at the next Hamilton Council meeting advocating for the removal of encampments from Hamilton parks.
Residents of Hamilton and the residents of my ward are demanding that we give us our parks back and get the drugs and crime out of our parks and turn it back over to our families and our children to use safely. The Premier has put this out there that there's this tool available that he's willing to use. Our mayor has not done that. I'm bringing a motion that would actually ask council to support it.
Now, in a repost on X, Hamilton's Ward 2 councillor Cameron Kretsch says, in part, I'm glad Mayor Andrea Horwath did not sign on to the notwithstanding urge. He says he's not surprised that Councillor Francis is bringing a motion, bringing notice of a motion, and hopes council will vote it down.
I want to take you to Brampton now, because Canada's three main political leaders and India's High Commission, they are in Canada, and they're condemning an attack outside a Hindu temple in Brampton. Yeah, so this happened yesterday morning as consular officials from India were visiting the temple. The group Sikhs for Justice says Khalistan supporters had been protesting Indian consulate officials ahead of the announced visit. So Khalistan is a proposed independent Sikh homeland in northern India. The consular officials had said that they were providing administrative services like helping seniors access pensions in India. Now, India's embassy says future visits to temples would only happen if local authorities make adequate security arrangements.
2 people have been arrested after a Toronto police officer and their horse were injured.
Get on your horse and grab it.
Oh my God, is this it?
So this was the scene Friday afternoon on Queen Street. Police say officers had discovered a stolen pickup truck through the automated license plate recognition program. And when they approached the truck, one of the officers on horseback was hit. Neither was seriously hurt. As you see in this video, people on the sidewalk were scrambling to get out of the way as the driver had backed up and tried to drive off. He ended up driving into a storefront. A 30-year-old woman and 33-year-old man are facing several charges. More rush hour service at the Milton Go line starts this morning. An additional rush hour trip will leave the Milton Go station at 8:15 a.m., making all stops to Toronto's Union Station. And then this afternoon, an additional rush hour trip is going to start. It will leave Union Station at 4:40. Metrolinx has also adjusted schedules right across the GO train network, meaning that a few scheduled times have changed. For example, the Lakeshore West trains out of Union Station will leave up to 2 minutes earlier. Metrolinx is asking riders to check their schedule time ahead of time. The Canadian Military Heritage Museum in Brantford is looking for extra pieces of history. They're dedicated to preserving the stories behind its artifacts. Their latest project honors soldiers from Brantford, and Six Nations who did not return from the Second World War. This museum is on Greenwich Road in Brantford, and it is trying to add fallen soldiers' names to the city's memorial, which was established in 1933. There's a personal connection from the man, Bob Iron, who runs this museum, recalling a doctor who treated wounded troops at Normandy.
Dr. Frank Clark landed at troops with Normandy and treated the troops, the wounded troops, and got them back to hospitals. And after the war, he came back and had a practice in Brantford. He was our family doctor. He delivered myself, my 2 sisters, and my brother.
Lots of connections there. The museum has submitted a list of names to the city of Brantford to verify their eligibility for adding to the memorial, seeking to ensure that no soldiers' contributions are forgotten. The museum's vice chair invites community members to share artifacts that could help tell these important stories.
In a week today, we'll be to the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum for our annual Live Remembrance Day special. Let's get into Sportsline. Busy Sunday in sports, full slate of NFL games, but a highlight during the Philly game you probably have never seen before. More on that in a second, but the Maple Leafs playing a back-to-back on the road in Minnesota after dropping a game in St. Louis on Saturday.
Pushing it ahead, and Spurgeon got back, and it's the other way. Boldy all alone scores.
And they lost another one. This one in overtime as Matt Boldy sent in all alone, beating Anthony Stolarz to give Minnesota. A wild 2-1 win. So the Leafs do grab a point, but sit at 6-5-2, the exact same record they had at this time last season. Despite all the firepower, they sit in last spot on the power play. Now, they did finally score on the man advantage for their only goal, snapping an 0-for-19 streak. Willie Nylander notched his 9th to score for the Leafs. Leafs, they come on back home and face those big bad Bruins tomorrow.
Now, here's Robrecht centering it. They score in overtime. Kevin Heath.
On the ice in St. Catharines, the Ice Dogs just keep their hot streak going. And who else but Kevin Heath scored the OT winner for Niagara as they won a 3rd OT game this season, beating Sudbury 4-3 at the Meridian Center. His 12th goal of the season as the Dogs are tops in the East with an 11-4 record. They host Erie on Thursday. Tough weekend for the Brantford Bulldogs, though, who after a pair of losses on Friday and Saturday at home, they hope to salvage a dub in Oshawa. Not the case, as this one was all Generals. They went out in front 5-1 and then held on for the 5-2 win. So the Dogs are now 6-6 in the year. They welcome Guelph to the Civic Center on Wednesday.
Wind is subsided. 61-yard try for the lead. It is. He's got it. He's got it. He's got it.
Yeah, to the NFL, where Buffalo Bills kicker Tyler Bass booted a franchise record 61-yard field goal with 5 seconds left against the Miami Dolphins that lifted the Bills to a 30-27 thrilling win. Bass, who's been pretty inconsistent this season, with some calling for his job, stepped up and hoofed the longest kick of his career and allowed the Bills to move to 7-2 on the season. Big day for the Bills. QB Josh Allen, he had 3 touchdowns. Buffalo now has a 4-game lead in the AFC East. Okay, now to that unbelievable play I mentioned off the top. So the Eagles, Saquon Barkley, can take a pass, then pull off something never seen before. Look at that! Avoiding a tackle with a spin move, then he promptly hurdles the Jags defender backwards.
How do you train for
You don't! I don't know!
That's amazing.
Craziness! He leaps with his back facing the defender and jumps over him. Something you will never see. But you'll see this over and over for many years to come. All part of the Eagles' 28-23 win over Jacksonville. Hey, some great news for Blue Jays' Dalton Varsho. After a wonderful season of stellar defensive plays in the outfield, he was rewarded with his first Gold Glove award. His 29 defensive runs saved was the best among all Major League outfielders. Second straight year, Jays outfielder has taken home a Gold Glove as Kevin Kiermaier snagged the honor in 2023. And in case you missed it on Saturday, there were a few things in life that are assured. Death, taxes, and Forge FC playing in the Canadian Premier League final. The Hammers are off to Calgary thanks to this goal in the 53rd minute at Tim Hortons Field. They held on for the 1-0 win over Atletico Ottawa and book a 6th straight spot in the CPL finals, looking for their 5th title and 2nd straight North Star Cup. It's going to be a rematch of last year's legendary final against their rivals, Cavalry FC. Only difference this year, it will be in Calgary. Match goes down this Saturday, and we'll have lots leading up to that this week.
All right, let's have a look and see what's happening traffic-wise for you. 6:13 on your Monday Standard Time again. So again, we'll see the sun come up about an hour earlier than it did last week at this time. So let's go to it right now. Down out of Niagara, things are looking in pretty good shape up through Millen Road in the Stony Creek area. We're seeing things moving along just fine. However, by the time you get to the Skyway Bridge, the Burlington Skyway Bridge, we are looking at a little bit of a slowdown right now. And we're told there's a police investigation going on, but this is slowing things down just a little bit. So watch that area as we speak. East of Guelph Line, traffic is fairly busy. Again, eastbound coming towards us. And let's check up by Pearson again. Well, that's starting to build up pretty good up there. And 401 west of the 400. So we're looking in pretty good shape. But again, the Burlington Skyway Bridge, just to watch that area. It's a little on the slow side right now. Weather-wise for us, it's not going to change a whole lot from last week. We're going to start the week with warmer air coming up here, but it's also going to be a little wetter. But as we get to the end of the week, we're getting cooler air coming our way, drier. So that's kind of what we've got on the go, and that was the story last week, and it looks like it's going to be much the same this week. Here's the rain. Several low-pressure systems are just going to slide up this way. Right this morning, we're seeing a little rain in the area. Don't anticipate much of anything until this afternoon. We're looking for afternoon into the evening time with some showers, and then clearing up as we get into tomorrow, and then back into rain on Wednesday as this system kind of wobbles gobbles over top of us over the next little while. So that's what's on the go for us. Temperatures as you head out the door, certainly on the warmer side. Hamilton 7 degrees, Grimsby 10, along with Toronto, Mississauga. These are daytime highs right now. In fact, maybe a degree above daytime highs in some of these areas. Your almanac for today, the sun will be up just before 7 a.m. and down just after 5 p.m. Normal highs 9 degrees this time of year. Today we're looking for a high of 16 degrees, so that would be 7 degrees above seasonal. Some afternoon rain, maybe some sun to start this morning, but also some 40-kilometer-an-hour wind gusts. And tonight we're looking at temperatures to stay pretty much the same, about 16 degrees. Wind staying gusty as well, and some showers into tomorrow. Quick look at temperatures. This may be the warmest day of the next 6 or 7, up to 21 with 60-kilometer-an-hour gusts and some sun, but a fair amount of cloud. And after that, well, things cool off just a little bit. We'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
Off and running. How are you doing with the time change?
Great, actually.
What time did it say in your car? Was it an hour ahead? You're just like that moment of panic?
No.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just like, am I late? No, I'm okay. So
No.
You're okay too. It's 6:16 if you want to know. We'll check in with Emily Vukovic, see how she's doing, and chit chat coming up. That was smooth. Then into business news. All
It'll be great
BC
on the
ports are
podcast.
set to be in lockout form this morning. That and other business news, and me learning to speak English in the break. Hey, there's Emily Vukovic. Yeah, we're talking. There's always like that one clock though that doesn't switch back automatically. Mine is my car. And the stove and the
Really? I was like, your microwave does that? What kind of microwave do you have?
We don't have a clock on them, but we have one on the stove.
Yeah.
So that was like, had to switch that one back.
Yeah. Well, my children, it didn't switch back automatically, and the clock's in their bedroom, so they thought they got up at 7:30 and started playing video games, and really it was 6:30.
6:30, yes. It's tough for parents and their kids. But,
Yeah.
it is going to get lighter earlier, so they'll be getting up.
Yeah, but it was dark, immediately yesterday.
Yeah, true.
That's what it felt like.
It's like 5 o'clock and it's dark out.
Yeah. Okay, coming up in Chit Chat, Toronto is getting ready for Taylor Swift. She's got some upcoming shows, and they're doing a little tribute to that. U.S. presidential nominee Kamala Harris makes an appearance on SNL, and it's hilarious. And later this morning, we'll take a look back at Quincy Jones' amazing career.
Yeah, we lost him last night. Look forward to that. We'll see you at the couch in a little bit. Into business news now. Let's check in on our business boards as we usually do. To kick things off, Canadian dollar is up 7 basis points, trading at 71.85 cents US. Gold up over $2, 27.51.30. Crude oil up almost $2, 71.47 a barrel. Off to Europe. Hey, Europe, how you doing? It's Monday. Midday trading there, up across the board in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
In Asia today, Japanese markets were closed for a holiday, but markets were up in Hong Kong and Shanghai. Checking North American markets from Friday, the TSX gained nearly 100 points after a big loss the day before. The Dow added almost 300, and the Nasdaq closed 144 points higher on Friday.
It is 6:20 on the button. I can say that because Brian's not here. Canadians will soon learn more about the Bank of Canada's recent decision to cut its key interest rate by a half a percentage point to 3.75%. Central Bank is set to release its summary of deliberations tomorrow. Then coming up on Friday, Stats Canada will release its latest snapshot of the country's labor market when it publishes its labor force survey for October. And the economy added 47,000 jobs in September as the unemployment rate fell to 6.5%.
A lockout at all BC ports is expected to start later this morning. It's going to affect cargo and cruise terminals across the province. The move by the BC Maritime Employers Association comes ahead of an expected strike by 700 foremen. The association says the lockout is to, quote, facilitate a safe and orderly wind down of operations. And just last week, the Union for the Foremen issued a 72-hour strike notice, which is set to start at 8 a.m. local time in BC. The Employers Association says its final offer, which includes a wage increase of more than 19% over 4 years, remains open.
A couple of business stories for you. More to come after the break, including Steve. We're getting another nice warm day today. How long is it lasting? We'll let him answer that.
All right, welcome back to Morning Live, 6:24 on your Monday. What's on the go here? Slowest area right now is around the Burlington Skyway Bridge. We've got a police investigation blocking a couple lanes on the Fort Erie bound side of things, and also fairly busy on the other side. So again, that's a slow spot as we speak. Back towards the Niagara area, coming out of Niagara in through Stony Creek, heading towards that Skyway Bridge. Traffic's moving along in good shape right now. Making the turn at the Guelph line. Traffic is fairly busy and a little on the slow side as we speak, so be aware of that. And by the Ford plant, seeing no major problems, except we are getting a little busier today. So that's what we've got on the go as of 6:25 and 5 seconds in your morning. Again, we're on standard time, so that's what we've got on the go right now. What's happening temperature-wise for us? As I mentioned a little earlier, in case you're just joining us, we'll start the week and end the week much the same as we did this past week. Warmer conditions and then cooler and drier conditions as time goes along. So let's see what's going on outside in some areas right now. St. Catharines not reporting. Niagara Falls fairly clear at 11 degrees. Looking at a few showers now in Hamilton, Cayuga. Things are fairly dry in Simcoe, but looking at cloudy conditions there. Up by Kitchener and Guelph, starting to see things cloud up. So we're not expecting rain or much appreciable rain till the afternoon, but there could be some spotty showers here and there as it looks right now, and a few showers in Burlington as we speak. Temperatures 8-9 degrees out there at this moment. So again, some low pressure coming, also bringing with it the rain and some warmer temperatures for the next 3 days before things change around and we get back to cooler conditions later on. Your Monday planner looks like this. We'll see some showers probably later on in the day. For the most part, more consistent temperatures, though 6 or 7 degrees above seasonal temperature wise. And your evening commute could be also on the rainy side, especially in the Niagara area, and the extended forecast shows that we do have warmer conditions, but on the wet side here to start, drier and cooler as we get into the weekend. That's it for now.
You know when you start feeling older? When there's like words that come up that you thought you know what they mean, but they actually mean something else when it comes to...
See, I don't feel older because I did know what this meant.
No, I know, but it doesn't mean what it actually means in our world.
Yeah, okay.
Right, and like for the younger demo. Yeah. What are we talking about? Well, it turns out that brat summer will now last forever.
Collins Dictionary has announced that brat is its word of the year. The UK-based dictionary publisher has defined it as someone characterized by a confident, independent, and hedonistic attitude. Brat became a cultural phenomenon when British singer CHCH dropped her album of the same name this summer. Brat's also one of the most talked about words of the year because it was part of Kamala Harris's election campaign. After which CHCH gave Harris her seal of approval, proclaiming on X that Kamala is brat.
But don't you know that brat is like a spoiled brat?
Yeah, kind of.
That would be in the dictionary, I bet, isn't it? So now there's two brats in the dictionary?
There's two kind of brats, yeah.
But they're spelled the same.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. Goodness. All right, I need to take a break just to get over this and assess it. Monday, glad you're here. We'll see you in a minute.